Look at how dumb this all is. These protesters literally had no idea what was even going on. They turned what was supposed to be a operation to get rid of human smugglers and drug traffickers. It wasn't an ICE operation. It was FBI. They turned this whole operation into pure chaos. This one lunatic put his hands on a cop. The cop tries to arrest him. You see this DNC lunatic here in the blue shirt with the goofy looking hat. He's jumping on top of the cops, obstructing justice, trying to stop him from arresting the individual who assaulted an officer. And in the midst of all of this, surprise, surprise, no one was arrested. Welcome to Minneapolis, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Minneapolis. What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure that you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we have to head on over to Boston. Why? Because we're going to talk about the DNC lunatic mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, comparing ICE agents to neo-Nazis because of the mask they wear on their face to protect themselves and their identity and from being spotted by cartel members, Terrain de Aragua and MS-13 members that are known for targeting not just individuals that they're at odds with, but targeting their family members, targeting their wives, targeting their children. That's what these groups are known for doing, and that's why ICE agents wear the masks that they wear to protect their identities. But in protecting themselves, we have Michelle Wu referring to them as neo-Nazis, and we have Hakeem Jeffries vowing to dox these men and women that are doing the work to clean up our streets. Now, look at this here, man. I don't understand how you can be against this. Recently, look at this. Largest ever ICE operation results in nearly 1,500 illegals arrested in blue state. That blue state being Massachusetts, right? That's where this occurred at. And I want to take a moment to just read this for a second before we get into an actual video, right? Look at this here. Operation Patriot, the largest ever ICE operation, resulted in the arrest of nearly 1,500 illegals, including murderers, violators of women and children, the R word, drug traffickers, and sex predators, child sex predators in the deep blue sanctuary city heavy state, Massachusetts. Operation Patriot concluded on Saturday after netting 1,461 illegal aliens throughout the greater Boston area and the state of Massachusetts, which includes numerous sanctuary jurisdictions. And as we round this article out, sources at ICE told Fox News that 790 of those arrested had criminal convictions or charges, and 277 had final removal or deportation orders. The sources said that all of the targeted criminals were roaming the streets of Massachusetts cities freely before being apprehended, because that's what they do over there in Massachusetts, and particularly specifically in Boston also, right? With Michelle Wu heading Boston, what they do is that, illegal immigrants, they will mess around, those that are committing crime, they will violate your children, they'll violate your women, they'll participate in all type of lewd acts. When they get arrested, they just simply get released afterwards. They receive an extremely low bail amount, an amount of money that anybody can pay off, and they're allowed to go back out there in the streets to do God knows what until they get caught again. These men and women are doing the work of cleaning the streets up. How you can be against it is beyond me. And what I want to do now is take a moment to play this quick video just to show you the work that ICE is actually doing to keep the state of Massachusetts and the city of Boston safe. Meanwhile, you have lunatics like Michelle Wu fighting against them to keep predators on the street. Let's get into this video clip next.
Just outside of Boston, ICE arrests this Salvadoran illegal alien on El Salvador's most wanted list. He has an Interpol red notice warrant out for his arrest for aggravated murder and kidnapping. Fox News was given exclusive access to ICE's elite Boston team as they made arrests across Massachusetts of illegal aliens accused and convicted of egregious crimes.
This car is going to pick you up, right?
Including this convicted child rapist from El Salvador. He was deported in 2017 but illegally returned to the U.S. ICE found him living right next to this playground.
So you guys just snagged a previously deported, convicted child rapist living 100 yards from a child's playground. Is that unusual out here?
Not in Massachusetts. It's not unusual due to the open border policies.
Nothing else? No.
Fox witnessed ICE arrest this Colombian alien charged with sexual assault of a child who was released from local custody. And this Dominican alien facing local charges for fentanyl distribution, also released by the locals. Away from our cameras, ICE arrested this Guatemalan alien charged with aggravated child rape and this Honduran man facing rape charges. Both were released by local jurisdictions with no notification to ICE.
These DNC lunatics are monsters, man. These people are monsters. How do you justify this? How do you say that this is okay for these folks to just be roaming the streets after committing heinous crimes against women and children, violating them, and you just release them? And that's on top of ignoring an ICE detainer. You had them. ICE said, wait a minute, hold on. We'll take them off your hand and we're going to get rid of these guys expeditiously. And Michelle Wu and these other DNC lunatics go, oh, no. We're not getting rid of anybody. We're going to re-release them onto the streets so that the citizen population has to deal with them. And whatever happens, happens. These people are monsters. Pure monsters. Let's listen to this next. I want to go into this video clip from Michelle Wu so you can hear what she actually had to say as it pertains to comparing them to neo-Nazis. So let me pull this video up for you right now.
I don't know of any police department that routinely wears masks. We know that there are other groups that routinely wear masks. NSC 131 routinely wears masks.
Mayor, just to clarify.
NSC 131 is a neo-Nazi group, for those of you who don't know. I didn't know. I never heard of them up until now, but that's the neo-Nazi group that she's comparing them to. My apologies. We'll take it from the top. I won't interrupt.
I don't know of any police department that routinely wears masks. We know that there are other groups that routinely wear masks. NSC 131 routinely wears masks.
Mayor, just to clarify, are you comparing ICE, you said, to NSC 131, the neo-Nazi group? Are you comparing them to a neo-Nazi group?
What I said is that Boston Police and no police department that I know of at the local level routinely wears masks.
To put it very, 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 very mildly, you can't dislike DNC lunatics enough. You can't dislike them enough. These are horrible people, man. These are horrible people. This is a horrible human being in Michelle Wu that you're seeing right here. Oh, anyways, I'm just repeating the same thing over and over again. You get it. I want to move on right now, right? These people are demons. What I want to do next, then I want to shift the conversation slightly, right? We're still on topic, but I want to pull up this video next from, I believe his name is ICE Director Todd M. Lyons, right? This is ICE Director ICE Director Todd M. Lyons. And this is just his response to Michelle Wu comparing ICE agents to neo-Nazis, as well as Hakeem Jeffries vowing to dox ICE agents as well. We're going to get into the Hakeem Jeffries videos after this one, but I want to play Mr. Todd Lyons' response first. So let's get into this right now.
My officers and agents walk into danger so other people can sleep safely at night, so kids can make it to school safely and play outside. So while it's easy to be an armchair quarterback and make up talking points that get activists riled up, the bottom line is my officers and agents are out there protecting the same people who are threatening their safety. Law enforcement's common sense. Politicians need to stop putting my people in danger. I'm not asking them to stop. I'm demanding that they stop. Here's what I have to say to Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, and anyone else stirring up the outrage about what ICE does. These are real people with real families you're hurting with your ridiculous rhetoric and inflammatory comments. And it's time to remember that.
So that's what he had to say there. Now let's listen to what Hakeem Jeffries has to say, better known as Timu Obama. Let's hear what Timu Obama stated prior to Todd Lyons, the ICE director, speaking. Let's listen to this right now.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is America. This is not the Soviet Union. We're not behind the Iron Curtain. This is not the 1930s. And every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified.
Look at his stupid looking face. I try so hard not to be like me. He looks like such an idiot. Is there, I get so annoyed listening to these people speak, mainly because it's not even so much so because it's not even so much just because they're not talking about anything, because once again, the Democrats at this point, they don't stand for anything other than standing against Trump, but they don't stand on any policies. They don't, what are they even about at this point? You know, they get their script and they all recite the script word for word verbatim. And that's what's so annoying about listening to them, right? Here's my point, and then we're going to move on. I want to get through this portion quickly. You can listen to Tom Homan, Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem. All three of them could literally talk about the same thing, but they will articulate that same thing and that same point in their own unique ways, eloquently and very crystal clear, straight to the point on what the issue is and what they're talking about, why it's important and what we need to do about it. When it comes to morons like Hakeem Jeffries, they get their script from the DNC leadership team, and all these brainless lunatics, they just read it word for word verbatim. You know, when they get their script, this is the new script now. These masked men, we have to do something about these masked men. Oh my God, these masked men. And they just repeat the same stupid thing over. It's a constitutional crisis, a constitutional crisis. It's a constitutional crisis. There's no uniqueness to them. There's no originality to them. This is one of a multitude of reasons why people are done with the Democrat Party. This is one of a multitude of reasons. They're just unbelievably fake and disingenuous. Even in the rhetoric that they push, that's harmful to the American people, they're not even unique in their deliveries. They just get their script, get on camera, look stupid like Hakeem Jeffries, and start talking nonsense that is 100% opposed to what the American people actually want. And it just gets so frustrating listening to them talk because you just sound dumb. I'll get off my soapbox right now and let's carry on. So what I want to do next, what I want to do now is that I want to go back to the ICE director, Mr. Todd Lyons, right? Because he gave another take on all of this. This is now Todd Lyons specifically addressing the doxing, because you have a congressman, Timu Obama, who is openly calling for the men and women of ICE to be doxxed. Once again, as I stated at the top of the video, their faces aren't covered for no reason. ICE agents at this point are the direct enemies of the cartel, Trinidad Agua, and MS-13. These three particular gangs and organizations that are designated terrorists. These groups / gangs / cartels are known not simply for targeting the direct individual that they may have an issue with in that moment, which is the ICE agents, but they go after families. They go after the women and children that are associated with, we'll say, those who they have issues with as well. So they have to be masked. They have to protect their identity so that they are not targeted and their families aren't targeted. But devils like Timu Obama could care less about that. and he wants to unmask them and put them all in danger. So now let's hear to what Mr. Todd Lyons had to say about this directly concerning the doxing of ICE agents. Let's get into that clip next.
This comes as ICE agents are facing a 413% spike in assaults. Acting Director of ICE, Todd Lyons, joins us now. Mr. Director, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
Thanks, Lawrence. Thanks for having me.
So before we get into some of the data that you guys have released, we got to get your reaction to not only the mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, but what the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, said, which is he's going to identify all of your agents, whether you guys like it or not. What's your reaction?
Well, Lawrence, I used to say that I was pretty disheartened by some of the political rhetoric, but I've totally changed to it. It's outright disgusting. What Mayor Wu said is completely disgusting. She actually compared us to a neo-Nazi group. And here I am on January 6th, where many of the men of ICE, brave men and women that were veterans, on the day, great day in military history when we defeated the Germans and the Nazi Party, we have elected officials comparing the brave men and women of law enforcement to Nazis. It's completely disgusting. And I've said it before, to the mayor and to the congressman, I'm a victim of that doxing. Last administration, I had mass protesters show up at my house at 3 a.m. coming from other states because my name and address got leaked. So I know what the men and women of ICE go through every day. So while they may not like it, what the men and women of ICE are doing in Massachusetts and all over this country is making communities safer. And under Secretary Noem, she is giving us her vision and her leadership to go out there and make these communities safer. And that's what ICE is doing. So to call us Nazis, to compare us to one of the worst groups in history is disgusting and just outright wrong.
Before we carry on, like, you got to really think about this and how reckless this all is, right? When it comes to the Hakeem Jeffries, Timo Obama of the world, and Michelle Wu, and AOCs, and the Jasmine Crockett's, and all these DNC lunatics, they're all living in these little DNC bubbles, in gated communities. A lot of these folks are filthy rich. They have multiple homes across the country, all in gated communities. They are very much so protected from the lunacy that they push onto the American public as it pertains to these ridiculous policies. They are protected. They don't have to worry about that. They're not worried about anything happening to them and their home being doxxed or anything like that, because you can't get to them. It's not possible. But when you're talking about the men and women of ICE that are literally regular, everyday people like you and me, regular folks, we're just amongst the public. I don't live in a gated community. I'm pretty sure you don't live in a gated community. None of these guys live in a gated community. We're not protected. And when you're doxing these guys that are literally taking the worst of the worst off the streets, you're literally putting their entire family at risk. And understand, that that's what you're doing. These people are unaware. They're not just doing this blindly and think that they're fighting for a noble cause. No, what they want is violence. What they want is for something to happen to their family members. That's literally what they want. That's what you're looking for when you're doxing people and when you're calling for doxing. Once again, these people, these DNC lunatics, are monsters.
Compare us to one of the worst groups in history is disgusting and just outright wrong.
Mr. Director, and I know the men and women of ICE, all the men and women of law enforcement, they don't want to be the story here. But to paint a picture for our audience, how many, just an estimate of your agents, have been doxxed so far?
Lawrence, there's so many ongoing investigations going on right now across this whole nation. Our partners at the Department of Justice have been great. We're bringing cases against these individuals that dox, but we have, I would say, if not hundreds, thousands. Look in Massachusetts alone. We had an officer, his photo went viral everywhere. One of the best officers, most mild-mannered, nicest human beings on the planet. Yet he was described in the worst way with his photo taped to every street corner, to telephone poles, identifying him just for doing his job.
Now, I want to transition, right? Because many of you are aware of this, but some of you may not be. Recently, I believe it was in Minneapolis, a bunch of DNC lunatics interrupted a federal operation in which federal agents were going in to bust human traffickers and drug smugglers. These DNC lunatics in Minneapolis, they thought that it was an ICE raid. So what did they do? They jumped in the middle of this situation, this operation that was going on, and they disrupted it, and it all turned into pure chaos. Pure chaos. Look at this here. False rumors of Minneapolis ICE raid sparks protest as police decry irresponsible info from elected officials. Look at this, man. I'm just going to play the video for you. Once again, these federal agents were trying to conduct an operation to take down human traffickers and drug smugglers. And this is what they were met with. They were met with DNC lunatics trying to put a stop to that, to which then chaos erupted. Let's get into this video next.
When we got here, the ICE agents and the FBI were trying to leave, and people were trying to stop them. People are upset. I mean, it's wrong what's happening all over, not just here.
They weren't ICE agents, you idiot. That's what I'm saying. They don't even know what's going on. They don't even know what's going on.
Somebody got hit.
He basically insisted on going through the middle of people that were out there in the street. He stopped. I put my hands on the front of his vehicle and he gunned it.
Well, I don't want to say too much. I'll let you guys speak for me in the comment section about that. I mean, okay. Look at how dumb this all is. These protesters literally had no idea what was even going on. They turned what was supposed to be an operation to get rid of human smugglers and drug traffickers. It wasn't an ICE operation. It was FBI. They turned this whole operation into pure chaos. This one lunatic put his hands on a cop. The cop tries to arrest him. You see this DNC lunatic here in the blue shirt with the goofy looking hat. He's jumping on top of the cops, obstructing justice, trying to stop him from arresting the individual who assaulted an officer. And in the midst of all of this, surprise, surprise, no one was arrested. Welcome to Minneapolis, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Minneapolis.
Back up, 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 back up. Get back, get back, get back. Get back, okay? Stay back. Stay back.
The way that the police are showing up in force, no wonder there is such a confrontation between them and the people that actually live here in the community. We have no reason to trust them.
Look, I'm going to end it with this. Because Tom Homan said it the best. All this hysteria that these DNC lunatic politicians are creating surrounding ICE, what's going to happen is that you're going to get someone killed. That's what's going to happen. And we're going to end it with that. He said it the best. Either an ICE agent is going to end up taking somebody's life, or an ICE agent is going to end up having his life taken in the middle of madness like this, because these DNC lunatic politicians are so irresponsible that they're creating a level of hysteria that will ultimately end up leading into someone unnecessarily losing their life. Let's get this Tom Homan clip up next as we close out.
Reporters are Tom Homan is used to dealing with these illegal loving Democrats. Tom, ICE agents deal with a lot out there when they're in the field. It's dangerous, very dangerous work. And you heard that one bystander who filmed himself and then posted it on social media that he wanted a bullet in their heads. Your response to that and all the rhetoric that led up to that?
It is disgusting. And a lot of our congressional representatives who are vilifying ICE and the Border Patrol every day, they're driving this hate. And I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before there's an incident where an ICE agent is going to have to take a life or an ICE agent is going to lose a life. I mean, here's the truth. Under President Trump, since he's been back, let me tell you what ICE and the Border Patrol has done. They gave us the most secure border in the history of this nation. Fentanyl trafficking is down over 50%, which means we're saving lives from overdose deaths. Sex trafficking, women and children, is down significantly. Migrant death, over 4,000 aliens died making the journey. They're not dying because they're not coming. Americans, 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl. Like, again, fentanyl is under half of what was coming across. President Trump saving lives. The men and women of ICE are saving lives every day. And if you look at the numbers don't lie. Majority of people ICE is arresting are criminal illegal aliens, public safety threats. And the non-criminals, most of them are scooped up in sanctuary cities. And you're right, the world's upside down when the guy that carries them badge and guns, the bad guy, and the ones who break the law are the victims. It's just terrible. It's upside down. It's just incredible.
How you can be against what's going on right now as it pertains to being against ICE is beyond me. They're literally taking off the streets the worst of the worst, and you have lunatics like Michelle Wu and Hakeem Jeffries that are openly calling for these guys to be doxxed and to keep these criminals on the streets. It's just beyond unbelievable. And with all that being said, that does it for today's news. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And also do not forget to follow me on Telegram. That is extremely important that you do that, please. The link to my Telegram is in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. Until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.